Welcome to another episode of The Bastard Sermon. This is one of your three hosts, Cody Hucker,
Patrick Seta,
and Luke Young.
And today we've got on our dude, John Corsini, a.k.a. Woody, up in this piece, the drummer from Split the Abyss. Give it up, boys!
How y'all doing?
Thanks for joining us today,
It's great
Woody.
to have you on, man.
Pleasure to be on.
you want a Skittle?
No, thank you.
They're fucking delicious. They're
Do you
like
not-
tropical fruit flavors and stuff.
What's your honest opinion on Skittles? Do you think they're good?
I don't care for them, quite honestly. I'm more of an M&M guy.
An M&M guy?
Is there a war going on between Skittles and M&M's that we don't know about?
Well, they're
There's
very
like-
Not that I'm aware of.
differences.
Is there like gang signs like for your M&M crew versus like your Skittle crew that you be repping?
The beef between Skittles and M&M's runs as deep as the beef between the Bloods and Crips.
Hey, taste the rainbow.
Did you ever have those chocolate bars that M&M's put out for a while? They were like chunks of mini M&M's in them.
Dude,
I think I missed that.
Shit was delicious.
Did
Shit
you
was fire?
Did you see when Hershey's Chocolate tried to get in the small edible game with Kissables?
no.
Yeah,
What?
they were
I remember
kiss
that.
shaped like M&M's.
Dude, that sounds pretty good, actually.
They were really
You know,
good.
I think the mini M&Ms are better than the regular M&Ms.
Why, dude? They're the same fucking
I
thing,
don't
just
know.
tinier.
I don't know why. I just feel like they're so much more flavorful.
You get less of them, and they
so
charge you
stupid.
more.
It's
They're
so
flavorful
stupid.
with less mass.
I think personally they're better. All right, sue me.
Pat is the reason that they're able to make money off this stupid shit. He's like, oh, they made them tiny. I'll spend an extra $3.
Dude,
There's so much more here.
I think it's fun. You know, you carry the little tube with you. You're good to go. It's just you pop them whenever you
Do
want.
they still sell the tubed mini
Yeah.
M&M's?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they
Seen those in
still
ages.
have like the little dispensers too, where you hooked up the tube on the back of them, and then you hit this little lever on the side, and it spits out a couple. Remember that shit?
Fuck, yes. This is insane.
Damn, Woody.
Easy there, buddy.
Damn.
Sorry about that.
Here, man, let me get you a coaster.
Make them uncomfortable.
You're all right. Completely fine. I just saw you like retract within yourself as soon as you hit the
It's
cover
all,
of the
dude.
table.
It's
You're
alright.
like,
It's alright. There's so many fucking technical difficulties on this show. Like nothing's gonna really derail it unless the table caves in on itself or something.
That
Or I
would-
just profusely start barfing on myself.
I think that would save the show if it got like weird and awkward and slow.
Oh God! Oh.
Luke just starts puking on himself. And there we go. We got 40 new minutes of material, but we gotta smell him the whole time and shit.
That'd be fucking disgusting.
Be horrible. Woody, did you think this is what you'd be experiencing when you came on the Bastard Sermon today?
Well, fortunately for the last week, I've been binging on all the episodes. You got most of your episodes, pretty much everything since Wolf Finder was on. So I think I'm prepared for what I'm about to get into.
Well, perfect. So
Lots
lots of debauchery.
First, we want to ask you about your dick, Woody. Now, what are you packing in inches and centimeters?
Actually, I think the last time I measured, 6 1/4.
6 1/4. It's a solid,
Killing
sturdy
it.
number. Killing it, Woody. Good job, buddy.
So one of my favorite stories that Cody's ever told on this podcast, I made him bring it up I had a New Year's party last night, and I made him come in the room to talk about it, is the time he got caught masturbating. Have you ever been caught masturbating?
Fortunately, no.
Thank God.
Never.
I don't think it's ever been a case where the lights have been on. I've been going to town on myself, and then my mom just walks in. Mom, roommate, somebody just walks in. Is like, oh my God! Like, no, I think I've been able to either keep the door locked or been. I always tried to maintain it, strategic enough. I know no one's gonna be home, or if somebody is home, I'm able to close down the browser, get up to the bathroom right away, and just lock the door somewhere.
So you're strategic about your meat beating.
That's like a master plan, you know?
I'm not a strategic meat beater. Sometimes door wide open, porn on way too loud, hoping Grandpa don't come downstairs.
Oh, Grandpa!
Well, I was beating off the porn. I don't even have an excuse. Get away if you don't want to watch me come.
When it comes to my jerk sessions, I'm all business.
Yeah, it's
that
in
makes
and
sense.
out. You're like Luke. You're a beat off ninja. You get in there, you do your little assassination on your balls, and then you get the fuck out of there. You clean up the blood.
Assassination on my balls.
Jesus.
Okay, that's
You have an insane computer set up in your basement, though. I can imagine you're
The
like
porn power he's got.
you just have like feet propped up on that big old computer desk with that monster monitor.
I could totally
4K
picture you.
TV. That's 100% how it goes down. You just nailed it, Luke.
Door wide open.
Nailed it. Yes, door wide open because it gets hot as fuck in that room, dude. There's no windows, so I need some good ventilation. And how else am I going to get ventilation and a little bit of fucking, you got to have some danger in your beat off, you know what I mean, Pat? You got to
Some
leave the
danger.
door open every once in a while.
Maybe put a warning sign up in the hallway, saying, jerk session in progress or something like that.
Yeah,
So it just makes the other people aware.
You jerk off in a public bathroom, at the urinal.
It's
dangerous.
Like that stereotype in college where, like, if you have someone over, you're doing something naughty, you put like a hat on the doorknob or something.
No,
You
I
do
just
that? You
leave
know
it-
anybody that's ever done that shit?
put a hat on the door to say that
Like,
we're
just,
fucking
like,
in
that's
here.
So I don't know. I feel like that's so stupid.
It's like some old school shit you see in like a 70s movie.
I've
see in Animal House or
walked in on too many people in too many places to know for a fact that nobody puts up a hat or a sock on the doorknob.
something. Yeah, 100%.
They're too lost in the moment.
Yeah, sometimes you just get caught up.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess.
It's like, hold on, wait.
Now
Let
they
me
brought it
find
up.
a tube sock real quick. I have to cover my doorknob. I'll be right back.
I gotta take off my sock real quick.
And now that we brought this up, I feel like now I'm going to be jinxed for the rest of the year. I'm not going to have a single jerk session all year where someone doesn't interrupt me or walk on me.
Yeah, it's gonna like happen a
God
week
damn
now.
it. Not again.
Dude, it's fucking awkward. My dad walked on me once. It's fucking awkward as shit. Did I tell that episode?
No, tell that fucking story.
So, like, I was really young. Like, I had to be, like, I don't know, 4th, maybe 3rd grade or something. But my dad had this huge, like...
Wait, hold on. You were slamming your ham in the 3rd grade?
Dude, I don't remember how old...
You were
wanna
pulling your
say-
How
Bud,
old
all
were
the way
you
back
when you
then.
discovered your dick?
Well, I lost my virginity at 13. So I was pretty young when that all happened. So I would say I was pretty active pretty early. But that's a story for another time.
I could feel Pat sweating.
No,
already.
nothing weird. It was like someone I was dating, and just like it was one of those things. Like we were just so young, we didn't know what the fuck we were doing while we were doing it, and afterwards we were just like, well, that was weird. And then it just years and years later, I waited again, but it was just one of those things.
Didn't
like,
know what you were you like trying to stick in their armpit or something?
No.
No,
The belly
no, no.
button.
It was like regular, things that happened. It was just really young when it happened, and I was just dating someone at the time, and it just happened. It just was totally weird at the time because we were both like, I don't know, what are we doing here? You're just so young, you're not mature enough to really understand what's going on. It's sorry, it's a weird question, but I mean, I'm totally open about it. It's whatever.
No, but you were telling the story about your dad when you were in the 3rd grade.
Yeah. Anyways, now
You
that
guys
they're
were
really opening up.
You guys were showering together and
So
soaping up each other's genitals.
So no, he had like this huge like Playboy stash upstairs, and I would instead of me like taking a magazine, I would never get caught because I didn't know what the fuck it was. I knew I wasn't allowed seeing it, so I would take like a little piece here and there, and put in this little like Oreo box or whatever that I had, and I would just like have a little stash, and I know this is mortifying.
You had an
but,
Oreo cookie sleeve full of just pictures of porn.
No,
that
it was
you
like a
cut
tin.
out?
It was an old tin or something, but it was originally for like cookies for Christmas. So I had
You
it out.
just reach in
and-
there, hands all sticky from beating off to put your fucking.
God forbid. But I remember I was about to have it happen. I was in the middle of it, and my dad just walked in the door without knocking or anything. He's like, "Hey, bud." And he was like, "I'm sorry." And he walked out, and it was mortifying. Absolutely mortifying.
Did he bring it up to you later?
No, we've never talked about it since. But there's not a day that goes by that I don't think about that embarrassment.
Can we call your dad right now on the episode?
Hey,
and
Dad,
talk
do you
to him
remember
about
that?
it?
He's like, "Oh, yeah, yeah, buddy."
Oh,
No, that'd
God.
be fucking awkward. Tell your story since we're at it, because that just cracks me the fuck up and get me off the spotlight here.
Oh, the story about getting caught beating off.
God, it was so fucking
I've
funny.
been caught a bunch of times, but this is just one particular instance. So this is back in the days when you're beating your dick, like 16, 17 times a day, whatever it is, you're first beating off, and like you're a fucking animal. You got to get it out. No one wants to fuck you unless you're Pat, apparently, and you're getting vagina at 13, which is implausible in my world. But like,
Weird
so
time.
with
Weird.
yeah, I was like,
It
what
was
are you
weird.
talking about? How
So with you.
fucking kind of legend are you, sir? But anyways, like I can't like 13 years you like I would have just called you a liar at school and shit. Like no, you haven't. But anyways, so I'm probably the same age as Pat while he's with actual live women. I'm in my room by myself in my creaky fucking bunk bed, like sharing a room with my little brother who's on the very top bunk and shit. Because I'm the older brother. I ain't sleeping in that creaky ass top bunk. No thanks. And this bunk bed sucks because we've had it for fucking forever. So like every time you breathe, the whole bunk bed's like so like one stroke of your dick and it's like the whole bed's gonna come crashing down and shit. So like you're doing ninja strokes with your breath. Like as you breathe in, you pull up on the dick. As you let out, you go down and like you start. at the end, you know, you get in there and you're like, oh, it's about to happen, and you're not really paying attention. Your eyes are going crossways, and you got your tongue's doing something weird in the corner of your mouth, and then all of a sudden, as you're coming, next thing you know, there's a vampire behind you that's like, I smell peanut butter, and then or that smells like rotten peanut butter, he says. And I turn around and I look up and my brother's hanging like a fucking bat over the top bunk. And he's just sitting there looking at me. Would he ever have to lie while you're coming? Like, there was something caught in my underwear. And so that was the story of me getting caught beating off.
Did you guys ever talk about that later?
I'm sure we brought it up at some point. I don't know.
It's like, so remember that one time
I'm not. My brother knows I'm a fucking weirdo. I don't. Jacob doesn't. It's not. It wouldn't be weird if I brought it up with him.
Well, that's good. I mean, it's good to be on that level, I guess.
You just never want to make eye contact with your little brother while you're coming. Is the moral of this story, Woody. You've never been in a traumatizing situation like that before, buddy?
Involving my penis, not to my knowledge.
Do you have any that don't involve your penis that are horribly embarrassing? Like something where you're just like, God damn, where you stop in the shower and you have to scream audibly because you're like, oh, so fucking embarrassing. Like anything like that in your life?
It's not a case of there isn't. It's a case of there's too many, and I can't really pick one out of the lineup right now, quite honestly.
That's fair. That's 100% fair.
I always hate, cause, you play a ton of shows. You've played a ton of them, but like embarrassing yourself on stage, I feel like is the worst fucking thing ever. Everyone's watching you and listening to everything you're doing, and just mortifying as well.
Oh, there's one time I thought I missed a passage when we were playing the Madison Theater back in 2016, and it's all on video. There was this part where you can audibly hear me beating the living fuck out of my snare drum because I was like, God damn motherfucker, I should have played that better. And I think ultimately I didn't miss the part, so I got pissed off for absolutely nothing.
So everything was fine and you were just up there losing your marbles?
I was in the moment. I thought I fucked up, so I was just like, damn it. I didn't, not totally lose control that I like Keith Moon the Kid and just sent it flying across the stage. No, just you can audibly hear like the velocity of my hits are like, go from here like to here noticeably.
So did you like break your snare head
no,
or something?
Haven't done that yet, fortunately.
Damn, you're actually lucky. Have you ever like broken equipment like playing live? Because that shit is the worst too.
I've gone through my fair share of cymbals. Probably enough we could probably melt them down, everything down, and case something. I know cymbals mainly. A couple of tom heads, but fortunately kick heads, snare heads, never. No.
Yeah, knock on wood. That shit is expensive.
I thought cymbals are more expensive than like the heads on these fucking drums.
To replace cymbals probably are the most expensive, and depending on what you're looking to get. Drum heads, it depends on how big your kit is. I've got a fairly sizable kit. I got 2 kicks, snare drum, 3 rack toms, and a floor tom. So to get the whole thing, batter and resin heads replaced, it could be a good $500 to get the whole thing refitted with new heads and everything.
God damn,
that's so fucking
expensive, dude. Like my guitar, if I gotta get new strings, like $8. That's it. That's all, like $8, and you got a whole new set of strings. Like if you want to fucking replace your equipment, make it sound all brand spanking new, $500. Like fuck that.
I feel like drummers have it a lot harder than most musicians take for granted, or people take it for granted. Like they have to carry the most equipment in, they have to spend the most fucking money, and when they're playing the shows, the whole band depends on the drummers and their whole timing. And then they're sitting in the back where no one can really even see them that much at all. I feel like the reward is just so little compared to like how much you're really working. I mean, playing the shows is reward enough, but it's just like they have so much fucking work to do, and I feel like people take that totally for granted. It's such an important instrument for the band.
And you can't easily get into that shit, right? Unless you got like pockets full of cash out of nowhere. How'd you get into like having a drum kit for the first time? Like that's an expensive fucking ordeal.
What happened was really with me, I just I was going when I was in high school. They usually had these band challenges down at Bogart's just about every few months and stuff like that. And just one day I just got this wild hair up my ass. You know what? Fuck it, I'll give it a stab. I asked for a drum set for Christmas, and there it was.
Did you get in did you go play in Bogart's?
As a teenager, I was never good enough to really like get out. Believe it or not, my first ever live show was the summer of 2010, and that was when I was about to be a senior in college. So I kind of missed all that, unfortunately.
So almost 9 years now you've been playing.
What got you into the scene that made you want to get into the scene in that genre? Like, I want to start playing this type of music for the rest of my life. I want to start this type of band to play this kind of music. Like, what band got you into that series?
Well, we're going to have to go all the way back to the summer of 2003.
That works.
First record I ever really, record I bought with my own money was AC/DC's Back in Black. And with me, with anything, it starts as a minor interest. Okay, I'll just start getting this. I'll get a few more records, and then just progressively snowballed. I remember I got Judas Priest Screaming for Vengeance. I remember getting Megadeth's The World Needs a Hero, and it just went progressively on and on. Then I want to hear more about this. I want to find out more about these bands. I want to find more stuff, and it just snowballed and snowballed and snowballed. When I was finally in high school, and I finally got my kit, I figured, okay, I want to start a band. What kind of band do I want to start? Well, this was about 05, 06, 07. This was during the days when, As I Lay Dying, all the big metalcore bands. You play Patrick K. And that stuff just never really connected with me. But I was big into Judas Priest, my band. I was big into Megadeth. And I was like, I want to do this authentically. I really care about this. I want to start a thrash band. Mm-hmm. I want to go old school. I want major guitar solos in every single song. I want to have the big kit with all.
To interrupt, did you feel like, because I felt the same way about thrash and like Maiden and fucking Slayer and Metallica, Megadeth, those bands and shit like that growing up, and I felt like that metalcore shit was happening, and I didn't like that stuff when I was growing up. I felt like I was kind of out of my time almost, with the music that I liked when I was a kid. It was almost like I was more made to be in the late 80s, early 90s, as far as trying to start a band with friends and shit. They were always trying to start a deathcore band or a metalcore band or something. And it was it was hard to find people that wanted to get into a band that wanted to play the same shit that I wanted to play. Did you ever come across that when you were growing up?
Well, I think really with us, about a year later, that's when, Warbringer finally dropped their debut record. Skeleton Witch was out. Toxic Holocaust, Municipal Waste. They started in 03, but they really started to catch on. Really, that was, in 08, there was that, big boom of, retro styling and everything like that. Mm-hmm. So, I feel like, it kind of, I kind of did feel that way, but then again, the whole scene kind of, everything just fell into place. It's sort of the market, I guess you could say, corrected itself. And now in 2018, man, there was so many freaking albums that came out last year. I can't even keep track of all of them.
Now it feels like there's room for everything. It felt like there was a genre that's popping at one given time for fucking forever. And now it's just the longer that shit keeps going and the more access to all this music that everybody has on the ready for no fucking money at all. Spotify's free, fucking get everything on YouTube for free. You don't have to pay for anything to get music now. So it's not there's no music of this generation, I feel like. There's pop, there's shit that's popular, there's shit that they play on the radio, but that's not the sound of the generation anymore. It's anything that you fucking want it to be. You know what I mean?
Well, maybe that is what you would consider the sound of the generation, because now there's so many branches of music that it's just maybe the expansion era for music.
I think what he's trying to say is there's no more great iconic musicians or bands.
There are. It's just that the market's saturated with so much fucking music. There isn't just one icon or two or
there's
three.
A million of them.
There's trillions of them, and you're just
but they're not all going to be Michael Jacksons. They're just going to be popular in their own scenes for whoever follows that particular genre.
That's true. Is that shit going away? Do you think with big musicians, big fucking giant as far as metal goes, the Ozzy Osbournes or the fucking I don't know, pick somebody. Is that going away because of how many fucking albums are coming out and how much music is out there? Is anybody ever gonna hit that fucking crazy level where you look at them and be like, that's the god of this genre type of person or whatever the fuck?
I don't know, but I feel if everybody would make a collective investment in one artist, we could potentially have that back again. I feel if there was somebody going today who's formed post 2000, everybody who self-identifies as a metalhead or something of that variation, tomorrow went out and bought a piece of their merchandise or asked for a piece of their merchandise, I think we could have a big act again.
Mm-hmm.
No, I think You were right, and you had something there when you said you think that there's no more like Aussies anymore because it's too saturated with too many people. I think because there's so many people, there's not like one person to glorify to that extent. Like no one in Michael Jackson's time was doing what fucking Michael Jackson was doing. You know, he was a one of a kind. He killed it. Now, you don't even have to like Michael Jackson's music to understand what he did was amazing and monumental. And nowadays with so many people, it's just, you know, people shrug, one artist off because they're going to say something wrong and be gone the next day, or another new hot artist is going to show up with another single tomorrow, and then they'll be gone the next day.
I like how much shit there is out there, but I'm overwhelmed by it all, and I just end up sticking to just a couple things. Woody, though,
Yep.
This motherfucker is a walking encyclopedia of, like, all types of music knowledge, specifically metal. Every time that I talk to you about something, you're like I could name the most obscure fucking black metal album from 1992, and then you'll be like, yeah, that was actually produced by this record label, who also the guy actually burned a church down, and it was interesting because they recorded the audio from the first try. I'm like, how do you fucking know this stuff? What do you know everything about?
Just to clarify, I'm probably like a mid level in terms of that kind of encyclopedic knowledge. I'm sort of like Obi-Wan at the start of episode 1. I'm like, the high level apprentice just about to become full on Jedi Knight. There are other guys who know way more than I do, and also have like collections that dwarf mine.
No, of course, there's always going to be people that know more, but the amount of knowledge that you have on this shit is impressive. So that's why I wanted to have you on and talk music with you and shit like that, and just go balls deep. And
it just comes from a lot of just buying records, proactively seeking stuff out, and just reading that there's a few blogs, Skull Fracturing Zine, I remember one in particular I like, or just keep trying to keep my ear to the ground. Find out new things coming out.
It's so hard for me to do that now, though. I guess the reason that I'm impressed by it is because I don't fucking know how to even go about figuring out new music. Like, other than talking to friends that know new shit, like somebody shows me something, I don't know how to.
That's always a good way too.
Yeah, that's true. But I mean, it seems like you know how to search out the right, like, you know which path to take to where you're going to find a new fucking good album or something, or take a chance on something. And it turns out to be fucking solid every time. Like, you give me music recommendations when we're out at the bar. I always look that shit up, and it's like, this is fantastic. Like, every single fucking time. I just give you a basic rundown of what I like, and you drop me 3 albums that are fucking super solid. I don't know where I'm going with that thought either, but it's fair for you to look at me like that and be like, what the fuck's the question here?
So you buy a ton of records? So you
more
were
than
always...
more than I should, quite honestly. I'm not being very fiscally responsible in that respect, but...
How'd you get into records rather than
CDs? I don't, not vinyl. I do buy CDs, actually, primarily.
Okay.
I have yet to make the jump to vinyl, actually.
Is that what you would like to do, though, eventually, is just have a big... Because I think vinyl collections are super cool.
I'm really, what I do, I do everything, quite honestly. I've got CDs primarily. I also do MP3s. I actually have a collection of cassettes now in the past couple of years, and I guess eventually I'll make the jump to vinyl. Basically I have all my options open, really.
I see a ton of bands nowadays actually releasing cassettes.
Yeah,
again.
that of all things like made a comeback in the past 4 years.
Where can you even go to play this shit anymore? Like, I feel like it's like really hard to find that.
I think there's people. I think there's still tape players available on the market, or maybe people are starting making them again due to demand.
That's super cool. So do you know how to play any other instruments?
I don't.
You don't?
I'm strictly a drummer. I know. I probably should have learned to pick up guitar, or at least bass by this point at something now. So maybe in the new year, I'm going to resolve, finally learn how to play a stringed instrument.
Mm-hmm. So we have a good friend, Alex Wool. If you're familiar who he is, he says that you guys used to play with him. Like, I think he was in Horseshoes and Hand Grenades, but you guys used to play together all the time. But then you guys had like some sort of hiatus. Is that right? Did you guys have any am I misinformed by hearing that?
Horseshoes and Hand... I don't... we've played a lot of gigs. We might have played with them a while ago. I can't really recall.
It was probably a different band name, but I know that was like the big one that he was in. Mm-hmm. We were talking about it last night when I saw him, and he just said that you guys had this... I'm asking about the hiatus rather than that.
Okay. The thing what has happened is July of 2017, our guitarist and vocalist, co-founder of the band, Max Kessler, moved to Los Angeles, California to pursue his career as an audio engineer. And so he's living out there right now. Being that he's out in L.A. and me and the bass player, Matt, are still here in Cincinnati, and makes the logistics of a show a little difficult. Really?
I met this dude, Max.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he moved away. And I'm sorry, I'm going to interrupt you. Go on. I was just going to say, like, yeah, he told me how complex you going back and forth to play shows is.
Really, the big obstacle is just the cost of travel fare. If somebody could just put up the money to get a round trip from LA to Cincinnati, we could probably be able to book a show sometime in the next couple of months. So anyone out there wants to set up a GoFundMe or something like that to get Max back here so we could play a gig or two, I'd appreciate it.
Yeah, that'd be cool. So you guys are still, so since you guys are still playing music, how does practicing work? Just when he comes back, or do you guys do it online?
Well, we haven't really got anything booked right now. We had our last gig was, I believe, I want to say July of last year at the Northside Tavern for a benefit gig. We haven't really been able to work out a system yet. Really, it's just a matter of he comes back into town, we set up our practice space, and we just go at it like we always did when he was living here in Cincinnati.
Does it feel disjointed at all? Like, do you feel like you missed something with him being gone for so long when he comes back?
I really wish we could just get back into the groove of playing shows again, because at the time we left, we were actually making some decent money every time we played and selling merchandise, and we could probably start breaking out, start hitting Columbus, Louisville, Lexington, circuit around here, and I feel like we were also on the cusp of really we could start writing better material, because all my records are sort of like my children in a way. I love them in spite of all their imperfections, but I feel like we could cross a particular threshold. Okay, we're not a bunch of fucks from Cincinnati playing disjointed death thrash. We can start being serious contenders now.
100%. And this is, for everybody that doesn't know, this is Split the Abyss. I mean, it's going to be in the episode title and shit like that, is the name of your band. You just had a record come out, right?
We are going to have a new one out sometime this year, come hell or high water.
Is that the one that you had us pull up earlier?
Well, was that your logo? Are these your covers?
This is this is going to be cover art for our third studio album, These Terrible Depths. Yes.
Are you guys
It
like a
looks
concept
amazing.
album? Like, do you guys do concepts? Like does the artwork mean something in particular? This looks like something straight out of like Atlantis or something. What we're looking at right now, if you can't see. But yeah,
It's badass.
It's really cool.
I love this Kraken type squid man
Leviathan
type
looking.
shark. It's awesome.
The title track is it's about this story written by H.P. Lovecraft, The Temple, about this German submarine that after diving basically is unable to resurface and crashes in the middle of this ancient underwater city. The crew all goes insane. It's all told from the perspective of this captain, who's this just hard ass militarist Prussian, and basically talks about offing his crew with no sympathy or regards, and spoilers. It ends with him basically leaving the submarine and seeking out this source of this mysterious light that's illuminated from this temple that his submarine's crashed next to.
That's so fascinating.
Yep.
It makes me think kind of like The Sphere. Michael Crichton? Are you familiar with Michael Crichton?
I am familiar with Michael Crichton. I actually have one of his books, but I have not read any of his work.
Dude, like I won't lie, he's a weird fucking dude, but he wrote Jurassic Park.
Yeah.
He's the guy who made that. I read that book in 2 days. I thought it was just one of the best books I've ever read.
I also have the Andromeda Strain, but I admit I have yet to read it.
Yeah, I haven't really done that one.
I've got like a stack of books this high I've been meaning to read.
It's hard for me to sit down and actually sit and read the books now. I just hardly have the time. I hardly have the time to do it.
I don't have the fucking patience to sit down and read a book. And I get so sleepy when I start reading books. It just my eyes start closing and I start getting that heavy baby head with the tiny little neck where the shit starts just falling on its own, can't hold itself up.
I read The Hobbit was the last book I read, which was
Powerful.
fucking awesome. 300 pages, super quick read. It was awesome.
No reason it should have been.
Thank God they made a
films.
fucking 12-hour series out of that.
No
It was
reason.
really necessary.
I still
Absolutely
enjoyed it.
pointless.
I like all Lord of the Rings material, but it was still 3 fucking movies off that. Stupid.
Nah, I challenge you to go read The Lord of the Rings now.
I don't. I tried reading the Lord of the Rings when after I watched the movies and loved them, and I just do not like those books. I am not a fan of Lord of the Rings, the book series itself. It's just maybe it's the writing style. It's just so old compared to what I'm used to, maybe more old-fashioned. But I love The Hobbit. It was really weird. They're just 2 different vibes in the books, if that makes sense. Do you guys know what I'm talking about?
Nope.
I think so, personally.
The real challenge, from what I understand, is the Silmarillion, actually.
Silmarillion was great.
Wasn't that the one that's kind of about Sauron?
It's got side stories.
Side stories. That's what it was. Yeah, that's interesting.
Incomplete works of J.R. Tolkien.
It's got maps of fucking
World expanding.
all of the entire world. It's wasn't it supposed to be the definitive book that tied together the entire world, to the Lord of the Rings, to the Hobbit, to all the side stories, to everything? Wasn't there supposed to be the languages in the Cimmerland, but he never got to finish it and shit like that.
Well, yes and no. I mean, he released that, and he released a bunch of other books. I mean, his son had a hand on all of his material after he had passed, and he released it. Like, there's the Middle Earth Chronicle, or I'm pretty sure is what it's called. I've got it at home. It's falling apart, but it's basically a giant thesaurus and dictionary with all the nonsensical languages that he made up, like, translate Elvish for you and all that shit.
J.R.R. Tolkien was
wild.
he was a linguist, so like all the languages that he created actually work in the sense that
they teach it in
follow...
colleges, don't they? I feel like that's kind of a stupid thing.
No, I
They
think
teach,
they
like...
teach Klingon. I think that's as ridiculous as they get.
Yeah.
That and Jedi. I'm pretty sure there's some Jedi schools too. But other than that, yeah.
Fuck, I forgot what I was about to just say. But did he just work? Did he? Maybe I'm just like. I can't think of the word, but basically, is he only write Lord of the Rings type of shit? Is that all that he wrote?
JR?
Yeah. Did he write anything else? But was it only
that I'm aware of? I'm not. I could be wrong.
I wonder if he did.
Well, I can look it up.
Yeah, let's look that up because I'm kind of curious.
And I also don't know if his son Christopher did anything original besides
just
expanding on his world.
universe.
Yeah, on his dad's world, like the betrayal of Isengard and stuff like that.
Letters from Father Christmas. That doesn't seem very Lord of the Rings.
He's got a bunch of shit that he's written.
Holy shit.
There's all kinds of shit. Stuff that was released in 98, obviously posthumously. Yeah, he's got fuckloads of books. This dude just wrote and wrote and wrote.
There's
and wrote.
The Road or the Path of Burliand, and that is a book entirely made up of nothing but maps.
Holy shit.
Jesus Christ. Dude's prolific. So wait, do books have a big do they play a big role for inspiration for a lot of songs that you write, or are you not responsible for like lyrics? And
for me, lyrically, they are a big inspiration. Yeah, there's actually another song on the record called "Envoy Recidivist," which is about Richard K. Morgan's book "Altered Carbon."
I've seen I've never actually seen it, but I saw that they made a show of it on Netflix. But what's that about?
Altered Carbon. I guess the quickest thing I could compare it to is Blade Runner. It's one of those neo noir stories. It's this the central theme of the book is there's the technology has advanced to the point where if you die, all your memory is basically sent to this chip that can be inserted into a new body, and you can basically live several lifetimes.
Okay, so it's kind of like the Singularity almost, kind of, sort of.
Respawning.
Scary world.
Sounds
Do you
badass.
have anything that we could play to get an idea of Split the Abyss's music so that our listeners could hear what you guys do? Like a good example of something that we could pull up?
There's should be a video actually from one of the times.
I'm just clicking this one just to get to YouTube, but keep going. What were you going to say?
There's one of our tracks going to be on the new record called Universal Pessimism. You could probably bring up. I think it's one of the better tracks we have.
And it's on YouTube?
Yep.
Universal Pessimism. What was this one inspired by while this thing loads slowly and doesn't type all the words I type?
Well, I guess sort of wrote about. I guess I would call it sort of my interpretation of the general atmosphere at the end of the 2016 election. Quite honestly, I just figured I had to write something about it.
It was a scary time.
I'm listening, Woody. I'm sorry. There's just
for some reason, whenever Cody types anything on the keyboard, it just is so slow.
It's slow.
Right there.
This top video right here. Let's get into it.
Where was this shot at?
Rockstar Pro Arena in Dayton, Ohio.
Fuck yeah, that's a fun venue.
Yep. I think this was the third time we opened for Havoc, actually.
They have a great...
You opened for Havoc on this?
We've opened for Havoc on 3 separate occasions, actually, believe it or not.
Oh, that's
Once we opened for them in Peabody's up in Cleveland before it got demolished. That was, I think, summer of 2013, if I remember correctly. We opened for them in the Rockstar Pro Arena in 2016 and 2017.
Havoc's a solid fucking thrash band, dude.
Yes, they are.
They got pretty political on that new album, but I don't give a fuck. I was like, this is still a solid fucking album. Like, this is really... Normally, I just don't get into, like, the politics of, like, different things. I'm just listening to this to escape from all that. Like, I just want to fucking bang my head and get all this energy out and shit, and, like, not want to be aggressive with people by getting it out through music. But, like, even that shit, it's just like, okay, I can get behind this. But all right, let's hear this this example.
Man, look at Max rock out.
The audio's a little choppy on that, so I don't know if they'll exactly get a great idea what it sounds like, but it's a cool video that you got to do that.
Split the Abyss, Universal Pessimism.
Yeah, just look up Universal Pessimism and check them out.
They fucking rock out, though.
Look up Split the Abyss in general. We got plenty of other videos on there. We got our whole first album up there, and we have a few tracks off the second album with Savage Intent.
If the fucking keyboard lets us.
I would love to look it up, Woody, but this fucking keyboard doesn't want
Ace.
to let me do anything. Oh, my God.
Split to Ace. Split to Ace.
Please type. Please, keyboard, work with me here. Christ all fucking mighty.
Split the Abyss.
3 S's.
We should have put 3 S's in the name now that I think about it.
Now that you're looking at it, that is a good way to spell the Split the Abyss, right?
XX, Split the Abyss, XX.
Is this one like straight off the album shit? Let's get something that's like, I just want to give somebody a clear example of the audio.
Is this an 8-minute long song?
Yep.
Holy shit. Was this the longest song you have, or do you have songs that are even longer than that?
We actually wrote a 9-minute song about Neon Genesis Evangelion that's on our first Otakus of Doom EP.
I feel like
That's fucking awesome. What?
That's fucking impressive, because I feel like, as a musician, a fellow musician, I feel like I'd be too much of a perfectionist to know when I'm done with the song. How do you create a song that's that long? It seems such a daunting
With
task.
us, quite honestly, it's a challenge for us to write short songs, quite honestly. I don't mean to sound arrogant there, but for us, I mean, it's just a matter of like, we went into this mentality, okay, this is going to be like, this is going to be a big sweeping epic there. So we just, okay, we're going to write one verse is going to be particularly this style of riff. Another verse is going to have, this style of riff, tempo, vibe, and then we're going to have a bridge here, instrumental section here, a guitar solo right there. That's good for probably another minute and a half, something like there. And just, and eventually it just, I guess it's easier to add on than it is to take away from a song, really. So it's just a matter of, keep adding on. So we feel like, okay, this is about as long as we want it to be. We're done.
Yeah, that is fucking crazy. That is one hell of a task, dude. Seriously. Let's hear it. Let's hear what it sounds like.
This is off the second record with Savage Intent. We also have, actually, Austin Wolf from Siege Lord is on this song here.
Where can they pick this up?
We actually just ran out of copies for this record right here, actually.
No digital downloads? Nothing?
Well, I could probably get that up there pretty soon, yeah. If anyone wants to just hit me up, I could probably send them like something or whatever to work something out.
Find Woody on Facebook.
Really try to get an ice surf style vibe with this song.
That's a cool album art. Again, is the same guy making all the albums?
Christopher, yeah, also Christopher Horst.
Oh, I fucking love that. Now, how long does it take to record something like this, like a full album, as far as like, I don't know, sitting down and recording it? Do you guys go to a studio, or does it like, do you end up doing this through, well, I'll just let you answer the question.
There are other bands who've probably done this way more professionally than we have. For this record, I remember this was recorded at various locations in the greater Cincinnati area. I think this was we tracked in the basement of a friend of Max's house. Used to work at Sam Ash with him. We got the drum tracks done in a couple of days, And afterward, I guess really the guitars, vocals, that part of the process, that's sort of it has always been left up to Max, Matt, and at the time Mark was still in the band. To basically get their shit in, find a location, get their stuff tuned up, and do what they need to do to be able to get it done. I feel like for this album, we took about. Don't quote me on this. I feel like it would took about 3 months to track everything, really, for us. To be honest, I just know about my part of the process for recording everything.
So you guys aren't together when you record this shit. It's all just like one person.
No. We do it like drum tracks that gets done. Next is probably bass guitar tracks, then guitar tracks, finally vocal tracks, and then we send it off to get mixed and mastered.
That's fucking weird. Like you guys aren't even together when you're recording all this. No. Is that how it worked for you when you were recording an album, Pat?
Whenever I recorded an album, we did it just like that. We would do drums, bass, rhythm guitar, or scratch guitar, and then we put the leads in and just add whatever else we did. And we usually worked on vocals specifically right there at the studio. We always did send it out. But the fact that you guys do it all, so you're saying that you do it completely. You're not even together. Like when you go to the studio, you're by yourself. No one else is there. And then you're just doing it one bit at a time. You're not there throughout. Your guys are not all there for the process as it's being produced.
So nobody can comment on anybody else's shit. Like you guys just have to hope that everybody did it right.
Well, I can say as much. We practiced that. We practiced our asses off right before we went into the studio chorus. So everybody knew the material, knew the stuff, and so.
Did they ever change it?
What?
Did they ever change it? Like in the studio? Like, hey, I made some changes. You're going to have to go back and
I honestly think when we were tracking this record, we had at the time we had two guitar players, Mark Green and Max, who's still in the band. I think Mark actually didn't like the way Max tracked some things, so he went back and retracked some things the way he wanted it sound, stuff like that. I'm sorry, what was the question again?
Oh, I was just saying that's just.
Did anybody ever change some shit?
Yeah.
Like, did you ever?
Some shit here and there. I'd say for this album, for the first two, might have been changed around.
But the drums stay the same. Like it's not like they say, "Oh, hey, I added an extra part. You need to go back and set up your whole kit and record."
For this album, yeah, everything pretty much. There might have been a little bit of editing that was there for, but yeah, it was pretty much what you hear is what I recorded. I think in the mix and mastering process, the kicks were sample replaced. That's about it. The Otakus of Doom EP that we did, actually all the drums were completely programmed, actually, believe it or not, and I actually had a hand in programming all that stuff. For the new record, I recorded at a place called Threshold Studios out in Indianapolis, and I'll admit there was some editing done to the drums as well, done by a guy with Max out in LA called Dave Escobar, and yeah, for the most part, I've tracked everything. I've done all my tracks, and Max right now is finished done with all his guitar tracks. Matt is tracking bass too, and this month he'll be doing vocal tracks out in LA.
So Woody, that process that you're talking about, where you sit down, you record your shit, then another day your guitarist, another day your bassist, another day your vocalist. That's how you've done it for every album. It's never been different.
Yeah, I know some bands they could just set up in the studio and track the whole thing live, but. As I understand, most bands that's how they record albums. Yeah, they'll start with drums.
No, that makes sense. But you guys not being with each other while you're doing that, so that you guys can all figure out together. Like, hey, that part was a little shaky. Like,
I feel like that would cause a lot of creative differences. Do you think that did cause creative differences for you guys?
What we try to do is have all our shit already worked out beforehand, like have all the songs completely written, all the kinks ironed out. We know this is how it's going to sound like, this is how we want this to sound like, solo's going here, riff sounds like this, we got the drum fill here. We try to have all that shit already locked down before we get into the studio, because for the studio time is money, and I really never wanted to be dicking around too much in the studio trying to figure out how to write. So I've always wanted to write the songs outside of the studio, because for me the studios, that's where we're there to track, we're there to record, we have a finalized idea that we need to set to tape, not figure out what some people do that, some people want to do that in the studio, but I've just always had the mentality, I know what I want to play, and I want to try to get the energy of what we try to play in the studio, right? So not futz around too much trying to figure out what it is.
That's definitely very smart to do for especially studios that charge hourly. Like there's a ton of studios that would charge you a fuckload hourly, but then there's also some that would charge you per song, or let's say this. But I mean, you're making them work. So it makes complete sense to do that. Unfortunately, I had a very shaky process whenever I did it. We would write the music most of the time. Like we'd have like a shit ton of stuff beforehand, and then we'd get there and just be like, you know what?
Yep,
I didn't
figure it
like
out.
any of that shit. Let's just make a new song right now.
Yeah.
And that's how like most of the music was done.
Did it cost you a fuckload of money because of that, Pat?
It took like our last EP took like 2 years to come out.
Holy fuck.
Yeah,
Damn, boy.
It was ridiculous. And there was only like 7 songs for that EP, and yeah, it was ridiculous. But we had to retrack like everything. We had a lot of member changes, a lot of creative differences at that particular time. So that's what I'm thinking. Like when you guys are recording completely separate, like in my eyes, I feel like everyone would be butting like, oh, if you made a change, like because I feel like if you pre-recorded it like in your own studio at home, you know exactly what you want. I'm assuming that's what you did.
Well, that's what he had said. He
Yeah,
said they
it
had
would make
practiced
things easier.
it. They already had it on lock.
They knew what
how
songs
the
they
song
wanted.
was
Wasn't that
going to
way.
go. They knew how it was going to sound, and then they recorded.
So
They had
you
the
guys-
material already written, practiced, and ready to play. Then they recorded.
So you guys and Allies aside, you would like burn up studio cash to like
2
write new
years?
songs for 2
Well,
years
we
straight?
were really, really fast with how we did it. And usually with the people we recorded with the Crimson Armada. I
remember them.
Yeah, they were awesome.
They have a song that I warm up on guitar. I'm not a big metalcore fan, but they have this song called "A Filthy Addiction." That's a fun song to like.
Yeah,
you want
they
to get your
shred.
fingers moving, they fucking shred hard. Anyways, keep going.
So, I mean, the reason what I was trying to get to earlier was that, like, when I go to the studio, you know, we didn't pre-record it at home. We didn't plan it out. We just had, like, ideas, and we were just like, well, let's just go up there and just see what we come up with and just kind of wing it. And, yeah, that would eat up a lot of studio time at that particular time. We'd take a whole weekend per song, most likely.
Was that shit expensive? What were you paying?
It'd be, like, between, I would say, like, $300 to $700, I would say, usually. But if you split it up between like 6 people, it's not too
Wait, for the
bad.
whole thing or for a weekend?
For like a weekend. Yeah. We spent a fuck ton of money on the last end of that fucking band, that's for sure.
What about you, Woody? How much did you spend making, for instance, with Savage Intent? How much money was that? You don't have to say where it was recorded, like what your rate was. Obviously, this isn't a number that's going to apply to anybody else that's going to try to get a fucking album made or something. But
Well, like I said earlier, it's about $500. You basically when you're recording, you want to go in with new everything, new heads, everything, you know, everything, you know, basically, so there's not going to be any
Fresh gear.
Thank you.
everything sounds
Like that.
crispy.
Yeah. So that cost. Yeah. So I dropped about $500 on new heads right there, and I feel like I might have had a new cymbal going into this too. So that's about maybe like $200 to $300 right there. And I think all in all the track there was about maybe about $200 to $400. I want to say, at least for tracking drums. And then I remember Dave Voley mixed this album. He's going to be mixing the next one too. I think his rate was about $1,200. I want to say there too. So we spent about a good couple of grand on this album.
Yeah, they're expensive as shit. It really
between 4 people.
Have you ever considered like figuring out how to like? Did you guys ever think about it? Also, like recording this shit yourself at home.
We try, but I mean, I feel like having the producer there, because I don't know who you're like when you record with these people, if they give you like advice on like, hey, this is my opinion on what you've recorded so far, and like that's what I was saying. There'd be creative.
So far, we've just had guys to track us. We haven't had a producer yet.
So usually the guy that was like tracking us, it was the vocalist of the Crimson Armada. So he played guitar for like 10 years, and he said he only because he's like, okay, this is my recording and my name's gonna be on it. I want it to be good, so I'm gonna put my fucking ideas in it if it's something I don't agree with. It's kind of like a tattoo artist or something. Like I don't want to tattoo this shit because it's my brand or whatever. So
And if you don't want that, go to a different fucking track.
it was
whatever
like,
guy.
I mean, it was like the whole fucking thing that I had to go through for that album, the last album, the 2-year process was it was awful.
I'm
All
sure.
right? It
I
was
would have been
fucking
mad as
so
hell at that guy
stressful.
right away.
We hardly made it out alive to finish the album in general. We broke up right after we released it. There was just
Why you
no
didn't
tour
release
with
it?
Well, like we put all that time and money into it, so we just wanted to get it the fuck out. Like you don't just put all your heart and soul into some of this music and then just like what, you give up on it? No, that's like he said, when you work on this stuff, like it's like your baby. Like you put your heart and soul into this and you created a product under your name. You created something fantastic.
There's an emotional connection there.
Yeah,
for better or worse.
You made a huge accomplishment in your life that I would like to say that most people won't probably be able to do. And I think that it's so much work and so much planning to put into it. It's something else. It's undescribable, kind of like into the material, the fucking symbolism that you have with it, it just takes with you your whole life, I think, personally. And I think like I was in like a really dark place when I was writing that shit. So when it looks back on it, I just have some self-reflection thinking about that kind of stuff. So it has like huge sentimental value to me. Absolutely.
So obviously for you, that's like your most like difficult to record, like the hardest album, the most stressful album. Yeah. What would you say out of all the albums that you guys have put out? How many records you guys put out?
So far we have 2 full lengths and an EP.
Out of those 3, which one's the most difficult so far? And also including the new one, the most stressful or like.
I think the newest one has got with us. We haven't taken the Metallica route or the Megadeth route out of the gate. Pretty much we already clearly have established. We're taking like the Sodom Creator route, and that the first record's really raw and sloppy, and then the next one's an improvement upon that, and this one I think is an improvement upon the last one. So tighter, faster, more demanding playing, and certainly songs where you really got to know where you are in the song and really have to consistently perform, because if you fuck up, it's going to be very obvious.
Do you ever write songs that you get worried about where you're just like, how the fuck am I going to play this live?
Oh, yeah.
Like, God damn it, what did I do?
In fact, the title track off this record, I think I really got to like sit down in my practice space and get back together, because it's nonstop double bass pretty much from top to finish, and it's about a 5-minute song.
Did you say when you were recording, did you do it like via program? Because we did a program. We program all the drums because it's cleaner for us, but then like actually physically trying to learn that shit after we wrote it in the studio, it's like a huge transition and a lot of fucking work.
We had put out an EP in I'd say November of 2015 called Otakus of Doom. All the songs are anime themed. And it was pretty much just something.
I'm gonna check that shit out.
Yeah, it was something we did for fun. And what we did is we wrote the songs all beforehand, so we pretty much had like before we go into it, we knew where everything was supposed to be, how it was supposed to sound. And for something for saving on cost, Max has the software Superior Drummer. We just programmed the drums, and it sounded pretty damn good, almost like I tracked them in the studio, and we just did it completely DIY.
Yeah, that shit it's fucking, it makes things so much easier, I think. When you record live drums, I only worked in one live studio ever, and I know recording drums was a fucking nightmare, because you have to set up mics on every single drum and all the cymbals, and it's all in your fucking way as you're playing. Some of them, especially on the
I have
snares.
a fairly big kit too, so I'm compound the problem, I guess, by how many.
So I feel like it's just so much easier just in the studio, because you're going to have like fucking incredible quality. Every hit is going to sound like it's just there and perfectly recorded. I think doing programming drums, I think that's a good thing to do. It saves up on a fuck ton of time. But yeah, when you go home and try to learn that shit, it's probably a fucking nightmare. You have serious dedication on the practice and timing, especially you as a drummer. That's some dedication.
Do you have any songs that you just won't play because you're just like, dude, come the fuck on, I can't do this. Like, we're playing a 30-minute set, it's not happening.
You know what? It's never a song so much from difficulty really thing. There's a couple of songs that's in our back catalog we just don't want to play because we just don't really like how they've aged really. There's one track off this one called Perfect Aura that I think we could have probably written better and could have could have overall been a better song, and Max particularly just does not want to touch it at all. And there's another song off the first record called Cunning Inferno that we just feel this hasn't really aged all that well. We don't really we wrote it when we were like 18, 19, early 20s, and now we're all like, don't really want to.
Do you have a song where like you don't want to play it, but like everyone else wants to play it? Because I've had that experience, and I hated playing a certain song, and everybody else is like, that's my favorite song to play.
Not really. No.
You're the front man though, so like it might be a song that's fun to like fuck around on, like as far as like playing a stringed instrument or play along to, but like. Was it like just how the vocals were? Did you just hate every part of it?
I just thought the song was stupid. I just thought it was a bad song. I thought it was terribly written. I mean, I was there for it's a song called "The Quarantined" on our last EP. I was just not a fan of that song whatsoever. I felt like it was just such a lazy and boring song. I feel like it totally throws off the whole album vibe.
Let's check it out.
I don't want to pull that one up. We don't need to do that. But I mean, they would always want to play it, and I wouldn't want to do that. So I really wasn't into it. I'd really prefer not to.
We're not gonna, Pat. I would never do something against your wishes. I'm just kidding. I'm not gonna do it.
Anyways, we don't need to hear.
I'm with you in solidarity.
Yeah. There you go. But yeah, exactly. That's what I was gonna say. Yeah. I don't know what to say now.
That's all right. We're at about an hour, so I think this is a perfect point to plug our sponsor, Kneel to No One. That's if you guys want to check him out, go to KNEELTONOONE.com. Start dude Anthony Tank Mansfield. He makes fucking these phenomenal glasses that Pat's holding up to the camera, spinning it around so they can see Hop Thulu and shit. So Hop Thulu is this badass little design that he's made. It's supposed to be Cthulhu with a hop beard, like the hops that go into beer and stuff like that. He's got some cool ass art to go on these. He's got a limited run of beer glasses that we're actually going to get a couple of for our studio. If you guys want to grab those, they're coming out.
16-ounce samurai snifters.
They're fucking dope
They
looking.
look
Super
beautiful.
Get a whole pint in there. Get a nice dark beer in there or something for the coming winter months all the way up until probably, let's be honest, it's going to be until like May. It's going to be cold. You want a dark, heavy
cozy
fucking
drink.
beer, something that's going to warm the belly up. Something with a lot of alcohol in it. These glasses are perfect for that. It's great beerware if you're a craft beer drinker. If you're even just like a regular, you're drinking Budweiser, pour it into a fucking glass. It's always easier to get it down your throat that way. Mm-hmm. And he's also got dope ass art. Good t-shirts. He's got fucking solid stickers. I mean, he can make you some fine arts pieces. He's got these awesome murals down at 16 Points Brewery. All this fucking cool shit. Go check him out. KneelToNoOne.com. Anthony Tank Mansfield if you want to find him on the internet. Do you guys want to take a break or do you want to keep it rolling?
Let's take a quick break.
We'll be back, fuck
I gotta take
faces.
this.
Peace, bitch.
And we're back. So we haven't even told anyone, but we're actually recording this on January 1st, the very first day of 2019. So we've done a fucking episode on Christmas and now on the very first day of the New Year's.
We don't take breaks, people.
And yesterday, Pat had a fucking rad New Year's Eve party and shit that he was worried
awesome.
was going to get out of control, but didn't.
Yeah, it was
Thank
so
God,
fun.
Phenomenal.
Thank fucking God. Well, I mean, there was so much alcohol, I just thought and there was people saying strictly like, dude, I haven't gotten drunk in so long. I've been saving it for tonight. And I'm just like,
You're over
what
here
the
sweating
fuck?
bullets, just taking off your beanie and your sweatshirt.
I'm
and
just
shit.
like, yeah, I was stressing out. But we thought I didn't hear any fireworks. Usually there's like a shit ton of fireworks. You ever see like videos online of people like just showing just for miles and miles just all these fireworks and the whole sky is lit up? You ever see that shit?
Yeah, did you ever, like in the hood ass neighborhoods where they're like, fuck the fireworks, they just start shooting off AK-47s into the sky, and every year those bullets that go straight up fall back down and kill a bunch of people and shit.
Actually,
like that?
my old apartment, the apartment you used to come to all the time, the one that was on the 4th floor, in New Year's one year, there was some guy, I think like right above me, shooting off his shotgun on New Year's, like, psh, psh, psh. I was like, fuck, what the fuck?
It's an excuse to shoot a gun off in like public and get
Kinda
away
get
with
away
it.
with
It's
it.
kind of like fucking 4th of July, but I don't feel like more people do it on New Year. It's like a New Year's thing. There's people shooting guns off into the air. It's so fucking dangerous. What are they thinking?
So fucking dumb. Yeah, and if it kills someone, they trace the bullet back, and then you're in for murder.
Doesn't make
There you go.
I
It's
don't
fucking dumb.
I
It's
can't
just they're not
understand
thinking about it.
celebrations like that.
You just get fucked up and you got guns out.
I don't know.
Just to get shot.
I feel like
I
I've
don't
never
know.
really had spirit for much of anything. Like, I don't fucking look forward to Halloween. I don't, like, get jazzed up or dressed up for any parties. Like, Christmas, no. Birthdays, sure, because, I love the person. Like, fucking no team love. No sports admiration on anything.
Yeah, but you go super deep into the nerdum and like
That's
all the
very
nerddom.
true. That's very true.
And
I didn't really think about it like that.
That's like your version of having. Everybody's got like a team that they're rooting for and shit. Like Woody's might be fucking metal music. Yours might be like your dog, and Pat's might be.
You
Damn,
sack of shit.
got him.
Little inside joke, Woody. Luke's gonna marry his dog one day, and we're all gonna be there for the wedding, dressed up in furry costumes to be his best dog and best woman dog.
According to Lil Lunchbox, all furries should be purged.
We're definitely going to get into Lil Lunchbox. We mentioned her in the last episode. She is a living clown. We'll find out later if she's real or fake.
But first,
First, let's talk about dangerous fucking firework accidents. Let's pull up this video that I looked up here. It says, I should be safe enough if I stand all the way over here.
and it's like a circle of what looks to be like little 20-ounce like pop bottles in a little circle. Let's just start the video, see what happens. So dude comes in the middle of it. They're all, it looks like duct tape together or something. And he comes into the middle of it with a little lighter and lights the centerpiece where I assume there's a fuse. And he's filming it in his fucking, as he lights it, super short looking fuse. I don't know what's going to happen yet, but I assume it's going to be fucking bad.
Is there anything in those? Because I feel like they're
It
filled
looked like
with,
there was a clear liquid inside
it
all of
might
them.
be like kerosene or something. Is that clear?
Could be semen. You never know. I guess
yeah,
we'll
could
have
have
to
just.
find out.
Yeah, let me show you how
not.
I enter the new year. All right, let's do this.
All right, he keeps
So
walking.
he's running the fuck away.
He's on like it's on like a skateboard ramp at a skate park.
It's about to be catastrophic.
And it gets probably 50 feet away from it, and there's just huge flames shooting off out of this thing, and it fucking explodes. And the fireball just shoots right out and fucking hits him right in what I assume is his dick and ball area. And then he, like, you could see fire underneath him as the camera turns off.
They had to have been filled with like gasoline or something. That was a huge fucking explosion.
Have you ever had like a terrifying 4th of July experience or any terrifying experience with fireworks at all, Woody?
You know, there was this one time vacationing with my family in Cape Cod, Massachusetts. I remember I had dug this trench of sorts on the beach, and about 10 or so yards away, my dad we had basically assembled this big collection of fireworks, and we lit it off. It was pretty. I remember stuff going everywhere. I just remember that night I used that trench for its intended purpose, probably.
Hiding from the bombshells that were going off next to you.
At least what it felt like for a minute.
When I was a kid, my dad would show me how to make straight up fucking like military grade explosives and just like light that shit off in the backyard, like all kinds of crazy shit. He showed me how to make like Works bombs, where you take like the Works toilet cleaner and fucking like aluminum foil balls and roll them up and throw it in a 2-liter and squish the air out, and then a chemical reaction occurs and you bury it and it makes it explode like a landmine basically, and then he gave me a BB gun when I was way too young to have a BB gun that fires on CO2 cartridges. Just go in the backyard and kill squirrels with it and birds and maim random creatures, serial killer style and shit. And then he was always like, whenever you take these little CO2 cartridges and you put them inside the gun, there was a little place where it screws into a little needle port and it pokes through it. And then once the gun stops firing, the CO2's out. He said, never throw those cartridges away. And I was like, why? They're fucking garbage. What are we going to do with this? He's like, just trust me. Just don't fucking throw them away. I'm like, okay, cool. And I was like, how many do I got to save up before we make your project? And he was like, I don't know, like 10, 15 of them. Because I had a big-ass fucking case. Like, he gave me like a case of like 100. Like,
gave you some whippets.
100%. I didn't know what whippets were, but that's probably what that shit was. And
it is.
No, I think that's nitrous. This is CO2.
Okay.
Much cheaper, and you can't get high on it. But so I saved up probably 10 or 15 of them, and I was like, all right, I got these fucking CO2 cartridges. What are we going to do with them? And we go down to the basement, and he did woodworking when I was growing up. So we had full woodworking equipment in the garage, band saws and drill presses and table saws. You name it, we had it. And he's got this fucking drill press, which if you're not familiar, it's just a big, like, it's a big machine that has a drill bit in the center of it, and it spins the same way a drill would, but it's this big heavy piece of machinery that you just use. You take like a lever and you press it down, and it'll perfectly drill through whatever you're going through. And you put in this little tiny bit, and he was like, I'm gonna show you how to do one. And there's a vise at the bottom of it, and you take a CO2 cartridge and you put it in the little vise and you spin it around and fucking drill a little hole through there and shit. And he was like, do one. I just did one, do the rest. So I do fucking 15 of these things. I'm like, what are we fucking doing? Like, tell me what we're doing. And then he was like, just watch. And he takes like a little funnel and puts it in the tip and starts filling up with this black powder you can buy. It's just it's gunpowder that you can buy from Bass Pro Shop. You fill it up. You take a little green cannon wick, which is waterproof, relevant to the story. You put it in there, and then you duct tape around it like 3 times, like with 3 little pieces of tape. And you basically have a fucking quarter stick of dynamite or a little pipe bomb that you can fucking set off, and it's louder than any fucking fireworks. We had these things. We would make them all the time. He was like, all right, let's test one in the backyard. We had a big piece of land in the backyard, and he fucking lights this long-ass wick, and he's got time to throw it. And we stand back, and we're waiting, thinking like a firecracker explosion's about to go off. Maybe an M80, something dangerous. I wasn't prepared for what fucking happened. Like, there's rocks in the air, and there's a fucking, like, a cloud of fucking dirt and smoke, and it was like, ba-bam! This fucking thing, like, it's shaking windows and shit. There's neighbors coming outside. I was like, what the fuck did we make? And he was like, some good shit is what we made. And then fucking he would take them to like 4th of July events and throw them like into the woods while people were throwing off fireworks and wait for it to go off. And I knew it was coming, so I'd plug my fucking ears and it would just explode. And everybody would like duck for cover because they thought that we're getting bombed or something. And I remember one time we took these things and went on a camping trip, and we thought we had packed like a bunch of food, but we left our food bag. And the only food that we had for a 3-day camping trip in the middle of fucking nowhere, Indiana, was like 3 cans of Bush's baked beans. And we're like, we're fucked. We're gonna have to leave and go get food, and the closest store is forever and a fuck away. Then he's like, wait, I've got these fucking little miniature pipe bombs and shit, and they're waterproof, and there's a little creek that has a bunch of fish in them. And he was like, we could spend 3 hours fishing, or we could take this fucking pipe bomb, light it, throw it into the water, and boom, it'll shock all the fish, and you take a net and you scoop all the fish up, and that's what we fucking did. I didn't think it was going to work, but swear to God, you throw this thing right in there, shocks all the nearby fish, like 2-3 fish come up, and you net them up, and it's easy fishing. It's also super fucking illegal. I would never advise anyone to do any of this shit.
Fuck.
My dad's dead. He can't get in trouble for any of this, and fucking this all happened when I was a minor, like a very little child, so like I don't feel like I'm implicating anybody by telling these stories. But don't do anything that listeners, please, I urge you, the Bastard Servant does not encourage you to make fucking pipe bombs and shit. My fucking childhood was just weird. What are you gonna say, Luke?
I'm glad my dad wasn't the only one that gave us interesting 4th of July.
Dude, tell me about your fucking stories. I gotta hear this.
So my dad liked loud things and badass explosions. So he got this fat ass box of imported fireworks from like China, right? Mm-hmm. And there were these monstrous mortar balls with these fat ass wicks that
shit
would
left
stretch
over from
out
World
forever.
War I.
These things were amazing. Like, not only would they shatter your skull on detonation, but they were the kind that would like make a shape in the sky afterwards. You know, like
it's
a
like
smiley face.
It's
or
from
something.
China, so it's a hammer and sickle. As soon as it comes out, it's all red and shit.
But he the first time he used that, of course, like the cops showed up immediately, like all of the boys. But he used this like for years and years, and one year it clearly had enough. Like, so what he had to shoot these mortars off was he had one of those orange cement mixing buckets that, you know, bricklayers always have and carry around, with 3 steel pipes sitting in the center of it. And then he filled that bitch up with concrete to hold them in place in the bucket.
Oh, you made a ghetto like fireworks rig?
Yeah, so years of detonating.
How could this possibly go wrong?
Years of detonating the mortars off inside of that thing broke the fucking concrete.
And a pipe went straight down towards you guys?
So like, one 4th of July, he lights it off, right? And there's 2 explosions for these mortars. There's the initial fire that shoots it off into the sky, and then there's the second one for the actual like color. And the first one finished the cement in the bucket. It fucking broke and fell down, and it shoots off, and it fires off like 15-20 feet away from like me and my cousin Clint, a donator to the show, gave us another $30. Thanks a lot, man.
I'm gonna suck your dick the next time I see you, Clint.
Him and his sister and my sister, like we all covered them up in the corner. Like, this firework detonated in front of everyone. It caught some things like cinders and whatnot. It was catastrophic.
So
that sounds
did
horrifying.
anyone die though?
No one died. But we continue to use that bucket. We just put the broken cement pieces in a new one.
You guys didn't even refill it with cement, you fucking white trash animals.
Well, we tried it again right after that terrible one that nearly set everything on fire. We tried it again, but the first detonation that's supposed to shoot it off into the sky only shot it off about 30 feet into the air.
That's fucking scary. 30 feet in the air, and it just
high at all.
That's like this. That's like how big some of these fucking fireworks shoot outwards.
Yeah. The very last time he tried to do it, but he tried to stick the 3 steel beams in the ground in our backyard. It shoots off only about 60 feet in the air this time, and one of the cardboard canisters that's holding one of the gunpowder and shits inside hits this lady walking her dog. It like hits her dog, and she starts spazzing out. She starts freaking out about how she's calling the police. I've never seen my dad like act like a scared 6-year-old boy and beg for forgiveness before.
Well, when he's playing with fucking illegally smuggled into the United States Chinese fireworks, I assume he's a little worried.
No shit.
He's hammered.
I remember
drunk.
there was this one kid growing up that used to shoot off like bottle rockets all the time on the street on the 4th of July.
They do that dickhead shit where they shoot a match out of like
the Roman candles.
No, not Roman candles. No, was just regular bottle rockets, the ones that would whistle and then pop. Well, he shot one, and he would hold them and shoot them out of his hand like a madman, and one
He
went
didn't even
into
put it
one-
in a Budweiser bottle that he stole from his dad.
Well, no, he would just hold the stick that it came on, and he would just shoot it off. But one of these things went into this giant remember back in the 90s where they had the big fucking satellite dishes
Oh,
in
yeah.
people's backyards, giant pool-sized ones?
I remember him.
One of them shot up and hit that thing and caused a whole, like, block blackout.
Oh,
and,
fuck.
like, there was almost...
God damn.
His parents almost got, like, $50,000 fine from the government, but luckily they got out of it somehow. I don't know what the fuck happened with
Luckily,
it.
it
but-
was the 90s and no one had cell phone cameras back then. They could just lie. That's all I would do. Deny, son.
Fake news, not me.
Crazy. Well, fireworks are dangerous as fuck, man. They're little explosions.
They
like,
are explosions.
And we have a video that demonstrates that they are fucking indeed dangerous as fuck. I haven't seen this, but Pat has.
So,
He spends all day on Reddit, just scrolling through death videos, and he's like, "Oh, this one applies to the new year."
I follow specific pages, and they happen to pull up quite frequently when I sometimes stumble myself on Reddit. Okay.
All right.
Guys.
So this one says, "Start your new year right with a blissful death." Heart emoji. All right, let's see what happens.
I have no idea if someone died in this, by the way.
It's like a normal fireworks display
Do a full
video.
screen.
There's just shit going up into the air, and they've got these big, beautiful explosions going on. Let's see what happens. Oh, what just went off there? Oh no. Okay.
Fuck.
Okay, so the video starts off with it in the sky. So you just think
The
that it's a
city.
video of like fucking fireworks going off, and then it pans down and they're in the middle of a city, and at the very top of this four-story building with this water tower on top, this dude's shooting the fireworks off from there. But it's almost like the story that Luke's describing, where the firework goes up 30 feet and just explodes, but way worse. This thing doesn't get any lift off at all. Like, some of the fireworks went great, and then this fucking one goes into the air. Like, probably, I don't know. Let's watch it one more time.
It was hardly 20 feet in the air. It looked like it just went straight up and went right back down.
Well, each
It's on top of like an apartment building, too.
So each one of these is a 10 foot. So every story is 10 foot. So it got to probably, I don't know what, the size of that building again, 4 more stories. So it got 40 feet in the air and then comes crashing back down and just fucking explodes on the top of this. Oh, my God.
But it gets worse. So it landed on all the fireworks.
The dude's running. The dude's just running. Oh, my God. This is crazy.
So basically, the firework landed in the grand finale box, and that all exploded on top of this building.
Oh, my God.
Talk about fucking scary, dude.
I know.
Scary.
You want to hear something retarded?
Yeah. Oh my God. Go back to that one.
God damn. A fucking whole ass mortar just
I wanna
exploded
hear that
on this
story.
man. On this man.
Somebody's dead or having a real bad night right now.
Fourth
Yeah,
degree
imagine
burns
that.
to the bone.
Yeah.
Dude.
Look at this shit. The entire fucking display is just going off on the top of this fucking building. This is insanity. And then the biggest... God fucking damn. And you just see this dude on the corner of the building like hiding for his life, but you know he's just getting fucking roasted up there by all these fireworks. That's got to be horrifying.
Yeah, I know that pain because my retarded story is 3 4th of Julys in a row. I burnt myself with a sparkler.
I thought you were going to say that.
Yeah, I was waiting for like some near-death experience.
No,
or
it's
something.
stupid. It's a fucking sparkler. How do I manage to burn myself with it one time a year?
Well, how do you do it? Like
Well, once was on the thumb, once was on the big toe.
Every time I
big
hear
toe.
Every time I hear about sparklers, I think of Dave Attell's joke where he's just like, "Sparklers, that's the gay cousin of the firework." Nobody wants a sparkler.
Sparklers rule.
I don't know. Every time I think of sparklers, I was like, Dave Attell pretty much summed up how I feel.
That's really funny.
Stand there and spell your name, and it's like, what are you doing with your fucking sparkler?
Being a kid.
Well, you ever see like we talked about this one time on the podcast, but you remember those videos of like people shooting fireworks like out of their ass?
Yeah.
Like I read a doctor's statement that posted on some of that shit, and he said like this would cost you like $3 million in health like care issues.
Yeah,
and,
you
like, how
broke it all
long.
down on an episode, like the way that it fucking sears your butthole, basically.
Yeah, 3rd-degree burns on like the most bacteria-infested part of your body, and like you can't shit normally. You have to like lay on your stomach for like a month or some shit. I don't remember all of it, but I know like he said at the end of it with all the checkups and how long it will take to just stop yourself from having infections. You might have to get like a tube in your ass to shit out of, and someone has to clean it out for you. It would be like $3 million worth of health bills. Shooting a fucking firework out of your ass
for
crack.
some video that
Just
you
for
did
some
drunk.
stupid shit.
Dude, my
stupid.
brother's friends used to fire off Roman candles at each other as a yearly tradition.
Oh yeah, I know plenty of people that used to fuck around like that. They would just like play Roman candle wars, and somebody would lose an eye at the end of it all, but it was all in good fun.
Yep. You knew what you signed up for.
The mid-90s.
Did you ever have like any? Have you ever had an experience
They
of
were
like
lawless.
crazy shit with fireworks at all? Like, did you ever shoot fireworks out of a car? I've done that once.
You fucking shot fireworks out of a car and you haven't told that story? You're
not
like,
my-
hold
it's
on,
not
I got
a
a story
story.
about shooting fireworks out of a car, but
It's-
let me pass the talking stick.
It was just to try it out, and it was not a good fucking
Try it
idea. It's not a good fucking idea. What were you gonna say though?
Well, there's one time we were up by one of these little lakes, or like in Ohio, where there's just a sort of like a dam, ravine, or what have you. And I know my brother and a few of his friends were basically just taking those mortar shells, like normally stick in the tube that fire up. They were just taking them and just chucking them into this friggin' ravine, and they were exploding right there. And yeah, then the friggin' patrol boat came by, and I was like, oh shit, I'm gonna get arrested here.
Well, yeah, those things have waterproof wicks, so if you toss them in there, they'll explode under fucking water, and that's
Oh, yeah,
fucking
they will.
crazy. That's crazy. But yeah, what the fuck kind of trouble would you get in for throwing that shit? You're just like, that is bad for the environment.
It's not just bad for the environment. You're literally throwing a bomb into a ravine. You just threw a bomb in a ravine. It was just a
badass,
colorful bomb.
dude.
When he says
Probably
like
a
that,
charge
it's
of
funny.
domestic terrorism right there.
Yeah, I'll tell you what. The cops don't high five you after you get done with throwing a bomb into the ravine. They
The
When he
cops
put it like
need
that,
to learn
it
to have a
sounds like
sense
you're
of humor. There should be like a mannerism type of law dealing. Like, but were you a dick about it? Like, you know,
I think it's strange how like they say fireworks are illegal, but they still let people. Have you ever heard of someone getting a ticket for fireworks? Really?
Yeah.
Like just launching them off on.
I haven't.
Really?
What's your who? How do
That's
you
kind
know?
of shocking.
dude, the dickheads would call the cops on people all the time in my old neighborhood.
Really?
Or when are we
'Cause-
launching them off? Like I'm talking about on holidays.
Dude, like
and
when
stuff.
like I told you, when my dad was firing off those mortars, boys, like all of the boys showed up on that.
Yeah, well, I believe that.
all
serious?
of them. Yes.
That fucking thing.
We always did
I'm
fireworks.
telling
over-
you, the sound that thing made when it went off was unreal.
sounded like an earthquake was happening.
Yes.
Yeah, so I don't know. We always did them on Pippin and Corrine, like where my grandma's house used to be and shit, and all the fucking white trash neighborhood never gave a fuck. They would just stand by the fence and watch. They didn't care what we were doing. When my uncle was trying to set himself on fire in the backyard, they didn't give a fuck. They were there for the party. Like nobody was
Wow.
calling the police.
He didn't get a ticket though. The boys did show up.
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
I just think that's interesting that they just. I never heard of anyone getting a ticket or a fine really for the fireworks except for like that.
You have to
possible one
really
time.
be
Yeah,
fucking
you have to really
around.
fuck something up.
Like you gotta be out like at Northgate Mall inside, like shooting fireworks off. for them
Why
to be
aren't
like,
we
all
doing
right,
that?"
well,
Let's do that.
oh yeah, let's go to Guantanamo Bay tomorrow. That'd be pretty cool. I'm
Let's
sure that
fucking-
they'll just take it as a cool prank that we did. Not
Next
like
year, next 4th of
shut the
July.
fuck. Stop announcing. Don't say the words that are about to leave your face hole right now. I don't think you understand the implications of what you're saying. Luke's fucking around. This is a comedy podcast. Holy
Yeah,
shit!
these
Don't.
are all jokes.
God
all
damn it,
jokes.
Luke. Settle down, bud. I'm not trying to go to jail because this dumb podcast. that
Why
I
not?
do.
It would make a good episode.
FBI, open up!
I have been deciding to do like weird things randomly. I'm like, I don't want to do this, but it will make a good story for the podcast. But then it always ends up being too dark, and I'm like, I can't tell it on the podcast. Probably shouldn't tell that story about doing cocaine off an AR-15, but it happened.
What? Why not?
What?
There's not much more to that story, but it happened.
What the fuck?
Well, because I was like, this will make a great story for the podcast. See her laughing in the background? That's how you know the story's true. I shut the whole room down with one
Side
story.
stories.
I shut the whole room down with one crazy doing drugs story. Come on, guys. We were just talking about lighting neighborhoods on fire and stuff. We just watched a man die.
Arson. Woo! Cocaine. Crickets.
Yeah, exactly. No one's excited about cocaine stories. They're just sad.
Never a good idea. Anyways,
What are we talking about next? What's going on?
yeah. Well, what do we have? The Little Lunchbox lady that we never really delved into. And Woody, I'd like to really get your opinion on this person.
Where do I got to go to find this person?
If you just scroll down just a wee bit.
Just a smidge.
All
Is it
right,
this
so
one right here?
From what I can gather,
Yeah, it is.
Lil Lunchbox is a woman from America who lives in
Like Sweden or
yeah,
something?
Sweden, and she is a clown, but it's not like a job. It's not a gig. It's a lifestyle. It's always 110% clown. And she faces serious clown oppression every day. So she wanted to, let you know with, Clown Oppression 101. She lets you know what it's like to be in her life. She just wants you to know what it's like to really be a clown. To always remember to fuck the claters. Those are clown haters. And, Lil Lunchbox is just
She shaves
a character.
She shaves like a balding man's spot on her head.
Yep.
So she has like the hair around
Clown,
it. And
it's
there's
the clown
like
haircut.
a spot in the middle that's completely shaved. She does it every day, and she has terrible makeup at all times.
It's different makeup too. It's never the same clown.
Yeah, and it's like it's kind of difficult to really know what the fuck's going on, because it seems the cringy part is that she's doing all this for views, and that it's obvious that's what she's doing, which makes me think that this is all fake, which probably is.
Yeah.
But she like has all this drama with her ex-husband, and she'll like stalk him and go to his work, go in his car and wait for him to come out. And then it gets a little real, and I'm like, I don't know what the fuck is going on. So yeah, I'd very much like to delve down this rabbit hole.
Let's play the first video that you posted.
Scroll down a little bit further. No, there was a couple other ones. So if you scroll down one more video right here, this is the one where she got in the car and recorded his reaction of her getting there. Play that.
Our volume's down on 2 seconds.
She told me that he went to work today, which is unusual.
Let's back it up.
Okay, so I went to Robin's mom's house. She told me that he went to
No, wait. Are these face tattoos on her face? or
No.
just
No,
makeup?
not
makeup.
face tattoos.
Okay. Sorry.
work today, which is unusual for him. He doesn't work on Saturdays typically. So I'm on my way right now to his work. I'm just gonna wait outside. Okay, so here's the car. I'm just gonna stand right here. It's fucking cold as shit. Actually,
Scroll
the car might
faster.
fucking be open. Oh fuck, it's open. Fucking get in the car to fucking.
So she's in like her ex-husband's car right now waiting for him, and like he left her for someone else or some shit. Or no, I think he left her because she cheated on him. She did. So she's just like really desperate to get him back.
Woody's got a look on his face like he's dated a little lunchbox in the past. Somewhere down the line, he's like, "Oh God, I feel this man's pain."
Not necessarily. I'm just in awe when people take this stuff to this level.
Oh, I know. It's insane. It's insane.
All right, let's see what.
Yeah, keep
what you
going.
did.
Oh my god. Swedes.
So she just broke into his car?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's an old.
She
busted-ass
talks
middle.
about him in the weird relationship for a long while in the car, and it doesn't get ridiculous till he shows up to pull her
Scroll
out of
back
the
a little
car,
bit.
basically.
Is it around right there?
Yeah,
Yes.
just go back a little bit right there.
Right there. All right.
So this is
He wouldn't do that shit to me. Oh my god, he's there. Oh fuck, he's there. Oh my god, he's there. He's there. He's there. He's there. He's coming. He's coming to the fucking car.
almost 1 million views.
Hey. Hi.
What are you doing here?
I want to talk to you. It's been so fucking long.
Fuck, are you in my car?
Last time you fucking ran away from me.
Get the fuck out
Robin,
of my car.
Robin,
Get-
Robin, please
get
talk
out-
to me.
Get out
Robin,
of my car.
please.
Get out of my car.
I am your wife.
You cheated on me. You're talking to other people.
You think that fucking counts as cheating?
Get out of
You
my
think that counts as
car.
cheating?
I'm gonna call the cops.
No.
I'm gonna call the cops.
Robin, that is not the Swedish way. It's
out of my
not,
car.
you sound like a,
No.
what the fuck?
That
You sound
is
like a
not
fucking
the
American.
Swedish way.
What the fuck, dude? She's just like broke into this dude's car, and she's the one that cheated on him, and she's the one. Oh, this is so fucking hard to watch.
Right now, you're gonna fucking call. Okay, just I will get out if you just talk to me.
this is
Just please
all-
talk to me, Robin, please. No, Robin, please.
See, like it all
Please
seems
talk
so
to me,
fake,
Robin, please.
but it seems
Fake
so
as
fucking
shit.
real here.
I'm not letting go unless you fucking talk.
This part might be real, but the other clown stuff is gotta be fake.
Robin, please talk to me. I'm filming this. I'm documenting this. I'm letting people know that you won't talk to me.
Right.
Robin, please talk to me.
I'm letting
Like
people
that's
know
gonna
that you.
incriminate him. Jesus.
I know, right?
I
That's
have
how-
proof that you won't talk to me.
That's how off the rails this bitch is. Jesus Christ, hold on.
Robin, I am going. I'm not gonna let go. I'm not gonna let go. What the fuck? Robin! Yes, stop. I'm an Olympic runner. Oh my god.
There's
All
no
right, yeah,
way this
cut
is
this
real.
out.
How
Like,
is
it-
that
That's
real?
what I'm saying. Like it seems so fucking fake all the time. But I bet at one point this shit was real for a minute, and then she just kind of continued the meme to try to keep going. What's your opinion on this? You think this is bullshit?
This video, it could be 50-50, quite honestly. I don't know. It could be fake. I don't know.
I posted another video in here. We don't have to watch this one, but it was basically she was recording, and she has like this, like her apartment's not cleaned up at all. Like that's why I'm kind of thinking like this person's just straight up insane. But basically they were trying to get their cat back, the husband, and with the girl that he was cheating with, and she like keeps him at the apartment to try to like exploit them on social media.
Where is that? This
Right
one right
there,
here?
yeah.
Let's give it a shot.
It's
I'm
8
down.
minutes long though.
Do you know which parts that I should skip to?
I haven't really watched it, but it's just fucking insanity. It's insanity.
Let's just dive
You
in.
can see like the shaved part of her head.
Oh
like,
my goodness.
how do you like?
Robin
It's so
is coming right now.
it's just like so tough to tell. Like, is she just fucking crazy, or is this like all an act? Like, are you really shaving your head every day like this for a fucking meme?
That's him trying to open the door, but I changed the locks, just like you guys told me to. He can't just come up in my house without me knowing.
Hold on,
And I'm gonna be documenting.
what's the description for this fucking video? It says, Robin finally sat down with me for what I thought would be a conversation between two adults as she's filming it on goddamn Facebook. Instead, it was him and his new girlfriend high off their asses laughing in my face. Society will say that I am an unfit cat mother because of how I look, but meanwhile, these two shitheads clearly have a drug problem. I know society's against me. I am used to it. I'm also tired of it. I'm posting this to show you all that Robin isn't the nice, innocent guy he pretends to be online. I'm afraid that he's going to try to get me evicted and take Drexel, which I assume is the fucking cat, from me, but I will not let that happen. They will have to pry my son from my cold, dead clans.
Clown hands, I guess, is what that means.
CLANDS, clans. I didn't mispronounce that. My clown hands.
The amount of cringe on Woody's face right now.
That's
Yeah,
the hardest
it's
I've seen anyone cringe in a long time. All right, let's see where this goes.
Let's see if we can find the part where they get in.
So,
I mean, look at her apartment. I mean, does
this
this
entire
seem like it would be
thing will be
fake?
documented so he cannot fuck around with me.
It happens pretty quickly. Okay.
Coming. I don't know why you think that you still have access to this home when you left.
Meanwhile, he's probably paying all the bills for the home. She isn't doing anything except for putting clown makeup on her face that he bought for her. And
Think for a
she
second.
was supposed to be gone. She stole the keys. She like broke in when they were sleeping and shit. There was a window open. Probably stole the keys. And now trying to play it off like it's her apartment. He's like, "The fuck are you doing in my apartment?"
Think for a second that this is like, let's say it is real. It's totally not. It's totally bullshit, the whole thing. But let's say it is real. Just imagine going to pick up your fucking cat at your ex's house and they're filming you the whole fucking time for their video stream. That's so fucking weird.
You think this is fake for sure?
I don't know. Most people think it's fake. I want to say it is fake because it seems like she's just trying to be a fucking living meme. But then like some of these interactions just seem so real sometimes, at least in my opinion. They're fucking cringy as hell. She shaves the top of her head.
I know people
so
that are
weird.
this cringy in real life. They don't have the faculties to like film it correctly and post it online. It's like the shots are too good, and it's like she knows when to turn the camera off, like when the fucking the thing's gone. Like real crazy videos have to be chopped
cuts.
up. They've got to be chopped up by people that aren't crazy on the internet and put them all together, like the people that figure it out and shit. Like there's good moments in real crazy videos, but it's like the whole thing is too perfect, almost, kind of, sort of. Let's see how this one goes, though. I don't know. I guess we'll figure out if it's fake.
I don't know why you think that.
Why are you filming?
Why is she here?
Why are you filming?
Why is she here?
Turn this camera off.
No.
We
feels
need a
fake.
mediator, okay? This is not working.
How
You're
is that fucking
dangerous.
fair? She's biased.
Well, you're messed up.
She cannot. No, she
You
cannot
can't
stay.
film.
This all seems
Okay, you know
like fake
what?
in this part.
She
Scroll up
needs to
for
be
it.
here.
And let's hurry up. This is kind of ridiculous. Got a problem with that? What?
So one camera's one thing.
What is she saying?
Two cameras, none of you. Okay.
Like, it's
let's
like
just-
you're making fun of me.
Let's talk about the cat.
Don't you think it's a little fucked up to talk shit about me when I'm sitting right here?
Well, you have these fucking cameras here. So.
Well, yeah, because I need to have my shit
Let's
documented.
just talk about the cat, okay?
I don't know.
Are they in
Like, it
Sweden?
feels-
Does she live in Sweden?
Yes.
Yeah, I think so.
And she came from Clownotopia to
Yeah.
Sweden on like a... She got there in a tiny red car that she drove across the ocean with 97 other clowns.
it just like obviously this video, the more like I'm delving into it, is fake as fuck. Like
It seems really fake.
but just to go that far into this meme where you have to like shave your head and you just make it your personality to be this clown person and clown impression. Like there's people that post on her shit that will say like how into it they are. And
She's getting a
what are you
fuckload of
talking
views.
about?
Well, she could just be whack as fuck. She could just be some crazy person.
I think
with
it's all
a really
planned.
lame, idea. Like, oh, I'm gonna get big off of this personality that I'm gonna develop on.
It
here.
feels too
It's
reality
just
TV.
whack.
And why does this dude keep like allowing this to happen if this is
Yeah.
real? Like, what the fuck are you
Be
doing, my
fucking
guy?
out.
Why are you sitting down on our couch? I'd be like, well, I guess my cat's gonna just die in the hands of a crazy clown person, and I'm gonna move the fuck out of Sweden, away from my friends and family, because this bitch is ruining my life. Her fucking clown makeup. How do you start dating this person in the first place? This dude's whack too. I'm not even on his side, even if she's stalkerish and crazy. I'm like, wait, you chose to date her? What are you doing? She's
Well,
got fucking.
there's
Dude,
like-
she has a video where she talks about like the top 10 video games that disrespect clowns the most.
Are you
what
serious?
Are they?
Swear to God, I know Kefka from Final Fantasy VI is in it.
What do you think are the top 10 metal albums that disrespect clowns the most? Look, if you had to line them up, you could go top 3.
Let's see. Toxic World Circus might be on there. Let's see. Who else?
He's about to spit like every album that
You
is
might
out there.
you might put Bruce Dickinson, Accident and Birth on there.
I didn't think there were gonna be real answers for this list.
Woody is a walking encyclopedia. He's like Encyclopedia Metallum of human beings that I've met and shit.
I've fallen in love with Woody this episode.
I mean, you could marry him and your dog if you want.
Someday
this,
that'll be
in the
legal.
world of this podcast.
when this country accepts. So.
interspecies Woody to dog relationship with Luke.
Do you
Whenever
think-
this country gets a little bit more progressive?
Do you think Luke should be able to marry his dog? I mean,
If there's a way to get the dog's total absolute and unmitigated consent, if we can confirm that the dog does in fact want to marry Luke, then yes, I would
We
support.
sleep together every night.
Does
Does that
qual-
count?
Oh, is that?
Is it
Does
consensual?
the dog know what? Does the dog know what it's getting into here?
Or do you have to like tie your dog up, like hog tie your dog and throw him in your bed?
If the dog could suddenly have the intelligence of a human being, would he like be like, "Yes, Luke, I want to be with you," or like, "Oh no, I could do much better for myself somewhere else"?
I don't know. Don't ask me these questions because I don't want to marry my dog. That's this maniac's sick
He
fantasy.
doesn't want to know because if his dog becomes sentient, not sentient, but he's able to talk in human, he'll learn that 911 is a number that he can dial for help, and he'll steal his Luke's crippled landlord's cell phone while he's laying there in pain and agony from a motorcycle accident and fucking dial 911 to save him from his horrible crunchy peanut butter ball licking existence.
Good Lord.
wow, Cody.
Holy fuck.
I fucking delved deep there for a sec.
Okay. I'm sorry.
Is it time to bring this episode to a close?
No, not quite.
No, we got a
Still
little bit
got.
more.
Still got a
So,
little
do you have
bit
any
more.
other projects that are out and about right now? Sorry, we totally delve off the end right there for a minute.
Sorry, that's completely my fault.
Oh, I played drums for a little while in another band called Recurrence. I'd say it's currently on ice. I don't know what they're going to be doing right now. I've also started another project with Michael Reagan from Dynamite Thunder Punch and Dave Sugarman, formerly of Automaton. We'll probably have more on.
Dave. He's a great
Yeah,
singer.
we'll probably have more on that later in the year. We're just demoing some songs right now, so we're figuring out what we're going to call ourselves.
Yeah. Are you guys gonna go with like any like theme or anything? Because when Dave was in Automaton, shout out to them. He had like this whole persona they had going on. That's
Duncan
super cool.
Batchworth III, yeah.
Yeah, like
There's
free Duncan
they had
and
this
all
whole
that.
they had the whole steampunk theme. Everyone had a character. There was a whole backstory. Both their records are concept albums.
Yeah. Would you ever do something like that, or have you ever worked on something that's more of a concept? I think I asked it earlier, but I don't remember getting. us talking about it.
One of my favorite records is Operation Mindcrime by Queensryche, which is very, very much a linear story with every one of the songs. Someday I'd like to someday cobble together something like that.
Jeff
I
Tate's
just-
a solid singer too.
I
Shout
just
out to that dude.
I just don't have any real story or concept at the time really to make that thing happen. But maybe sometime down the road.
Yeah, because that would be fun. That's a fuck ton of work. That's like writing a book too. I would like a whole screenplay
Yep.
for the whole thing. That's nuts. A lot of work.
What about these
Yeah.
guys? I know that you wanted me to pull them up to give them a quick shout out.
Oh yeah, Lords of the Trident.
Fuck yeah.
Phenomenal band. They just dropped a new record, Shadows from the Past. That's great. It's just classic heavy metal, just high quality power metal. Just I'd recommend checking them out if you're into heavy metal of any sort.
Well, that's not. I don't think that like. So I saw these guys, and I will say, like, what immediately stood out to me was all their outfits and props they had, and they were just having the time of their lives up there, and it totally stood out to me. That's what I really liked about these guys.
homie, that he's keeping his face hidden, like every
That's
photo
Asian
I've
metal
seen.
right there.
He's kept his face hidden in every picture he's in that I've seen.
He likes a little mystery to it. I think the armor and all that shit. They wear all this stuff live too. They're great.
That's
Really
badass.
tight band.
I like it.
When do they play? When's that show again?
I want to say the
Season-
17th. 17th at Urban Artifact
Yep.
with Automaton and Siege Lord.
Thursday, 9 p.m., January 17th. Get the fuck out there. They've also got one on January 12th. That one's in
Wisconsin.
Wisconsin. Don't worry about those shows, guys. I'm sure.
Damn
not-
heck, Wisconsin's more brutal than Norway. Talking at least then we got Crystal Meth.
So also on that January 17th date, for speaking of Automaton, they're going to be having a new vocalist coming out on that date too. So be sure to check that shit out. Seriously, that's going to be a good show.
Right the fuck on.
All right.
Was there anything else we needed to plug or wanted to?
I'm good. I mean, everything's good for me. What about you guys?
I'm solid.
No, it's been a great episode.
Is there anywhere we can follow you on social media, man?
Split the Abyss. We have a YouTube channel. We're on Facebook. I'm on Instagram as Drums of the Abyss. Max is on there as Voice of the Abyss. Matt's on there as Rumble of the Abyss. We also have a Bandcamp page. We have a new record coming out this year, and I guess now I have to get on our Bandcamp page and update it so we have all our music available digitally, or just hit me up or something like that. I can hook you up.
Yeah, fuck yeah. Do you have any like drum cover videos too? You ever do any of those?
I haven't done anything like that yet. I'm probably gonna do that sometime in the future. I think with the new record, we're all planning on trying to do a playthrough video, each one of us for different parts. There's a couple of songs on there. I think I could really be really good for that.
Like to teach people how to play them if they ever wanted to, like that kind of like video.
Sorry, guys.
It's
You all right?
I think it'd just be me playing through the song, quite honestly.
I think that'd be super
Yep.
cool. Right on, man. Well, thank you so much for coming on. Sorry if we made you uncomfortable with any of our ridiculousness, but
Oh no.
Pat looked right at me.
no, I mean it was all of us. But I think we were all great. I think it was all a good time. Thank you for coming on, man.
We appreciate
super
it,
pumped
brother.
about it.
Really
Yeah.
quickly before I have a conversation with Luke about things I have to cut out of this episode that I said, I just want to shout out. I just want to shout out the STC, the Shit Talking Cunts podcast, as always, our brother podcast out in Boston. That's Joey O'Neill, or it's Irish O'Neill on Twitter, Instagram. Check out his wife's podcast, Between the Covers, with his God fucking damn it, with his wife. It's great. They take romance novels and they read them. They talk crazy shit about them. There's full video for all this. You can get it on YouTube. You can get it on anywhere that you subscribe to podcasts. Check out our sponsor, Neil to No One. That's Anthony Tank Mansfield. Dope art, dope beer glasses, fucking cool stickers, T-shirts, anything you could want. Art for your house. Get it. Fucking go after it. Anything else we need to drop, fuck faces?
Yes, pay attention to us and the Shit Talking Cunts. We'll be hitting you guys with the network very, very soon.
Live event coming up soon too in
Yeah.
March. Stick around for news about that.
And hopefully we'll be getting some merch here soon, early 2019 for you guys.
Fuck yeah.
It's going to be a great year for the Bastard Sermon. Pay attention, fools.
It's a
Well-
bastard year.
Love you guys.
You sick fuck.